Welcome to this guide to navigating the job search as a member of the LGBTQ community. Lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer people often face concerns about discrimination in the job market, pay equity, and how out to be in application materials and on the job. In this video, you will find information about your legal rights, how to address sexual orientation and gender identity in application materials, and how to find LGBTQ affirming employers. Know your rights. If you are applying for jobs within the state of California, sexual orientation and gender identity are protected statuses, which means that employers cannot legally consider these identities in hiring, firing, and promoting employees. If you're looking for work outside of California, the picture is less consistent. As of 2016, an additional 19 states and Washington, D.C. prohibit employment discrimination based upon sexual orientation and gender identity. Even in states without such protections, many cities and municipalities offer such protections, especially in large urban areas. Of course, these legal rights are not a guarantee against discrimination. You may still have to weigh the pros and cons of whether to disclose your sexual orientation or gender identity when working at a particular employer. More on that in a little bit. Application materials. You may have experiences that you wish to highlight in a resume, cover letter, or interview that may disclose or allude to your LGBTQ identity, such as involvement in an LGBTQ student organization, LGBTQ-related research with a faculty member, LGBTQ community involvement, or participation in an LGBTQ studies minor. These may be compelling experiences that highlight your leadership, knowledge, and transferable skills to a prospective employer. Many people will have concerns about addressing their sexual orientation or gender identity in the job search. Some common reasons include applying for a company not known to be LGBTQ friendly, if you need to find work immediately for financial reasons, or if a relative or family friend works at the company to which you are applying and you do not wish to come out to them. Ultimately, you do not need a justification for choosing not to disclose your identity. UCSB's Career Manual provides a great example of two possible resumes for a queer person on the job market. The first resume highlights that the student has a minor in LGBTQ studies, an LGBTQ-related internship, a research assistantship in an LGBTQ research lab, and is a member of UCSB's Queer Student Union. The second resume highlights the same experiences, but instead highlights being an intern at a student resource center focused on diversity issues, conducting research with local populations, and being a member of a student political and diversity group. Either option allows you to highlight your transferable skills and qualifications to prospective employers. Whether or not to discuss LGBTQ-related experiences in your job application materials is a very personal question, and there is no right or wrong answer. Whether you wish to highlight the nature of your experiences or use your disclosure as a litmus test for how an employer handles matters of sexual orientation and gender identity, or prefer to keep the focus on your qualifications and reduce your possibility of being discriminated against, either option is okay. It is a matter of deciding what's right for you. Transgender applicants face unique questions in applying for jobs, such as whether to use a preferred or legal name in application materials. Guidelines from the Rochester Institute of Technology offer a few recommendations about which name to use. They note that a resume is not a legal document and that you're free to use your preferred name. When it comes to legally binding documents, such as background checks, then you will be expected to use your legal name. If your gender identity is non-binary and there's no place to indicate this in application materials, you can ask Human Resources for how to navigate this or indicate your needs going forward after you have a job offer. Transgender applicants may have other questions, such as the availability of gender-affirming bathroom facilities and health insurance plans. Although you may ask about these at any point during the application process, you are in the greatest position of power to negotiate for appropriate accommodations if you ask once you have a job offer in hand, but before you accept the position. How to find an LGBTQ affirming employer. There are several different ways in which you might gauge how LGBTQ friendly an employer is. For large corporations, the Corporate Equality Index provides a wealth of information. 851 large companies are included in their 2016 annual report, representing every imaginable field of work. A record 407 companies received a perfect score of 100, while many more were close. A score of 100 indicates that a company has a non-discrimination policy based upon sexual orientation and gender identity, equal benefits for same-sex and other sex spouses, a transgender inclusive healthcare plan, and affirmation of LGBTQ employees, such as through offering an LGBTQ employees group. Besides helping you to identify LGBTQ affirming companies, the Corporate Equality Index can be a way to identify companies that do not shield LGBTQ applicants from discrimination, or who have had anti-LGBTQ incidents, such as donating to homophobic or transphobic organizations. If you're applying to a smaller company, look to the company's application materials, which may mention a non-discrimination policy. You might also search online to see if the company has a history of positive interactions with the LGBTQ community, such as being a sponsor of local LGBTQ events. You might also learn more about how LGBTQ-friendly a company is by networking with current employees. If you know someone who works there, you can ask them for the inside scoop on the workplace environment. If you don't, you have a couple options. One is to join an LGBTQ-related professional organization on LinkedIn and see if any employees of a company you are interested in are members. You might also use LinkedIn to search for UCSB alumni working at a particular company. Either way, you can get in contact with someone and get their sense of how LGBTQ-friendly the employer and workplace environment are. Hopefully, this provides a good starting point for you as you navigate the job application process. Links to the resources described in this video are in the description below. Please also consider seeing a career counselor or perusing the resources in the Career Resource Room here at UCSB Career Services. Finally, remember that you have a lot to offer as an LGBTQ individual and as an applicant in general. LGBTQ employees can offer strengths such as self-awareness or knowledge of incompetency with a population that is an important market for numerous companies. All the best wishes as you navigate the job search process.